With many restaurants back to full capacity in South Carolina since October, the rest of the hospitality industry is still limiting number of people allowed in one space, some services, etc. Well, joining us is Tony Cuajunco, Director of Operations for Holy City Hospitality. And I know that across the board, everyone's still being careful. They're not coming back 100%, even though the law states that they're allowed to. But Tony, can you talk a little bit about how you're feeling about things now starting to emerge?
Yeah, I mean, we want to continue to keep everything safe, just like you said, and, not just for our staff and for their families and for the guests, but, we see a little bit more and more volume coming through our restaurants. And it's more really on the weekends. We see a lot more traffic through the weekends, and it's a lot of in-state travel. As I go through the restaurants and talk with guests dining with us, there's a lot of people from different parts of the South, from South Carolina coming in to join and just making those smaller trips to where they feel safe, and having dinner and again, making it more of a 2-night stay instead of a week stay.
Right. But at the very least, it's people who are coming back out again, who are now starting to patronize businesses that had been bustling once before. I mean, a year ago, did we ever think that something like this was going to happen? And people had to shutter. So for hospitality, for your particular hospitality group, Holy City Hospitality, what was that like? I mean, what kind of impact did that make having to close down?
It was a major impact, and at the same time, when we got the light to open back up with limited seating, with everything that was asked of us to do to keep everybody safe, that's why we did one restaurant at a time. We have 3 restaurants that we operate right now, and we did one restaurant at a time so that we can do everything correct and make it where it didn't feel awkward. Not only just to serve great food, but we wanted our staff to feel good and able to give the service that they normally give, with just wearing a mask and making sure everything we did with sanitation and wiping everything down and going from menus to QR codes and just, again, we want people to feel comfortable. I think the more that we can continue to feel comfortable ourselves and make our guests feel comfortable, I think we have our own opportunity to get out of this. In Charleston, I don't look at it as a city, I look at it as a community.
Have you talked to anybody across the hospitality spectrum, though, not just restaurants, but hotels, spas, things of that nature, and when or if services are going to be fully back to the way they were a year ago?
Well, with working with Mr. Bennett and, with the Bennett Hospitality Group as our parent company, we've got a few hotels under his watch also. And we see that. I mean, and that's where we get the insight on that. And yeah, we started to see more with that. I think, again, the precautions that they take in the hotel is just as important as they do in the restaurants. And I think that, from what I'm hearing from, Mr. Bennett and Jack Bennett, is that, we started to see that. I think that in the spring, and, I already heard that Hotel Bennett's going to have a phenomenal May, so we started to see more people, coming out that way. And we've got the golf tournament coming up in May. And so, we'll see what that, I think that brings, I think the weather and just the conditions of Charleston, as the weather gets better, I think, again, we're a place that people drive to destination where people, again, will start to visit our city come that time, come spring, early summer. We're going to be, I really feel we'll be back where we need to be. Again, I think that, if we can continue, and that was the big thing about Valentine's weekend, it was a huge weekend for us, and I think that everybody did the right things and made everybody feel safe. I think that's going to help us in the upcoming weeks.
We're all in this together, as we've said over and over and over again. And as long as we all comply and we all do the things that we need to do to keep ourselves and each other safe, there's no reason why we can't have things return to the way they need to be.
I couldn't agree with you anymore.
And remind everybody, which restaurants fall under Holy City Hospitality?
Yeah. Well, Rue de Jean, 39 Rue de Jean, which is right off John Street, which is our French brasserie. And then we've got Coast Bar and Grill, which is our seafood restaurant. And then the best Southern restaurant there is is Virginia's own king. If you've not had a chance to have the chicken and waffles there or the pulley bun sandwich, you're missing out.
You got my appetite whetted. Thank you so much, Tony, for joining us. Really appreciate your
welcome.
time. Good luck with everything. Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much.
We're back after this.